Hey friends and family, hey loved ones. How you doing today? Just wanted to get on here and share what my week's been like, and yeah, these last 9 days or so since I was last on sharing sharing what's been going on with me and in my world, in my bubble, in my reality. Yeah, with me and mine, my loved ones and my precious family. And my precious being that I love and that I am consciously choosing to care for and own that responsibility, claiming my own power and taking responsibility and claiming my own power. And that's been a journey, and sometimes a maze, like walking the labyrinth and getting lost in the maze. Yeah. So these last 2 years, it's been interesting, like super interesting to kind of review, and I have been deep in this like life review process for a couple years now, and it's just exciting seeing everything come to like a culmination, and really seeing what I'm completing now and what I'm coming into, what I'm growing into, what I'm moving towards, what I'm moving forwards, moving into, growing in through. And so yeah, it's really trippy and amazing and beautiful, like to see like all this growth and expansion and this healing and integration, and yeah, the fruits of my labors, like seeing those, and seeing different things that are ready to grow, that have been seeded or that are ready to be planted, and yeah, they're just gonna take off because it's time, and it's up to me to show up and choose that and honor that and receive that and give myself permission, yeah, to be it. So there's so many things that I wanted to talk about today. There's so many things to review, so many things, yeah, to look into. And so what I'm super grateful for, yeah, some of the synchronicities and some of the themes, some of the archetypes that have been coming up for me. Yeah, one of them that's been huge. It's so great, because it's exactly what I wanted and what I asked for, to have deeper intimacy with me and deeper intimacy with my loved ones and those connected to me, those important to me, those beloved, by me and close to me. And so yeah, friendship is it's a big thing, and it's like means so much to me. And so then cultivating and nurturing that friendship with myself, being my own friend, and also showing up for true friends that do love and appreciate me just as I am, and just as I've been, and just as I shall be. And so that's a really good feeling. Friends that see me as I am, in my vulnerability and in my totality, yeah. And so that it just feels so beautiful and so wonderful, and just what I've always wanted. And so I'm very, very grateful and humbled for that, like for making this choice to be my own friend, to be a better friend to myself, to show up for myself and to care for myself through certain expressions and demonstrations and acts of care. And so yeah, I'm proud of myself, and really super grateful for all of the help that I've received on this journey back home to myself. And so an anniversary is coming up on March 1st of 2020. I had this huge, amazing, intense like brutally emotional dream about anger and rage and guilt and shame and blame. And yeah, it had all the elements, yeah, in it that I was going to be working with this last growth cycle. And yeah, just some of the old resentment, some of the irritation, some of the frustrations, and the absolute rage that I felt that I didn't know what to do with, and that I shoved down for so many years. And yeah, I just got to invite it and embrace it and work with it and use it as medicine, and see it as medicine and work with it as such. And so, wow, I've learned so much about this, and just it's so amazing, like everything that has come in and come through and been reintegrated or released and dissolved through my willingness to own my energy, own my power, and like honor my anger and all of my feelings, and getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. Oh, that's been the hardest thing. Yeah. And just getting more things about that the last couple days, and breakthroughs, just breaking open to break down and break through and come through the other side. And the only way out is through, and the only way out is in. And so it's just so great, like the way that it is. And so, yeah. Just taking a minute though. I'll take a second here because there is so much really all about this. And yeah, we'll just see what wants to be said, what wants to be shared, what wants to be heard, what wants to be received, what would best serve love. Yeah, for my being, through my being. How can I best serve love, like right now? And asking myself all those questions. Allow what is now. And so, so I won't get ahead of myself. Just like letting myself and allowing myself to be where I am right now. And remembering to slow down. Taking a page from Turtle Medicine. Turtle, thank you, Turtle. And from Turkey, yeah, generosity in the giveaway, generosity towards myself, not expecting like more than I am right now, and letting it be, and allowing what can be, allowing what is and what will be, what's been, what is, and what will be, and allowing all aspects of myself to be as they are right now. And so, yeah, I've had some interesting, play practices with all of my parts, the parts of myself that I'm working with, like claiming and bringing back to me, bringing home, soul retrieval, this retrieving, yeah, and reweaving for and through this alchemy, this unity within myself, my indivisible totality, honoring my fullness, my wholeness, the one, yeah, and the many in the one. Yeah, and the one, yeah, that many work and play through. Isn't that interesting? Like all those things to see into ourselves and to make it through. Like this time of navigation, yeah, upheaval and change, like this radical trust, courage, and faith, like to like overcome my insecurities and my old stories, my old beliefs, my old identities, so I can be free and love can be free to be all that it is and gets to be for this prosperity, this healing, this change, this awakening, this remembering, this coming back home to ourselves. For ourselves, through ourselves, within ourselves, within like our own personal journey. So our own discoveries and our own learning and our own paths. And we're not all sharing the same reality. And that was like one huge thing that I heard this week that I was like, oh wow. And it just kind of helped me connect the dots and click certain things into place. I was listening to a podcast the other day, Alpha Vedic, and Kelly Brogan was on, and she had mentioned some things, and yeah, they really resonated with me, and I really super appreciate her and the work she's doing and the parts that she's here to play. And yeah, it was so amazing, really, like the things that she had shared about her own experience, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is such a great way to articulate that, and it totally made so much more sense to me, and I can see it in a different way, and so it helped me widen my own perspective about what I've actually been doing and what I've been playing with and playing at being. And so yeah, it was like so amazing, like, and I had to like, yeah, kind of go back and listen to it a couple times and write it down, and yeah, and then I took a little rest after that to kind of take it in and more fully and let it kind of penetrate, yeah, and permeate through like some of those old mental blocks. And so she was talking about emotional enmeshment trauma. And it's like this codependent need that we have to be able to share a consensual or a consensus reality with others, like, so that they know what we're doing and why we're doing it. So it's just like trying to manage like perceptions of that other people might have of us, by making it comfortable for them and making it comfortable for ourselves. And so like I can see like, yeah, why, like how it all ties into my shadow caregiving and my rescuing others and my people pleasing and my overgiving, and how I can claim my emotional sovereignty, letting go of the need for others to know and understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Because yeah, that seemed kind of important in certain ways, but it's like, yeah, maybe that's no longer necessary. That's an area where I no longer need to put like so much energy and like exertion into that, like managing other people's perceptions. Yeah, so it will be okay with them. And so it's just, yeah, really super interesting. And I'll see what else wants to be shared about that and expressed and seen about that. But yeah, for my own seeing and my own vision, like it helped me clear a lot of things and a lot of blocks, yeah, that were in the way of me seeing like me more fully, and this gift that I actually, yeah, get to receive, be, and offer, and free for me. And that's being myself, showing up and being myself. Because that's what I've been asked to do. And so, yeah, it's just like unraveling all of these things in these magical, mysterious ways through divine order and divine timing. And so, yeah, it is all aligned right now. So, yeah, it was just super interesting, like, because I'm such a empath and an introvert too, I always felt like more safe when I felt like I could merge with the other. That was my need, like the urge to merge. And then that way we could share like that reality and that safe space and like be on that same page and that share that same wave, you know. But it is interesting, yeah. So one thing that she did say during, yeah, this discussion that was really enlightening and, yeah, really amazing for me, when I'm in charge of the merger of our spaces, yeah, that's like that feeling of comfort, that comfortable, so that like you feel safe, I feel safe, we're safe, and now now we can do something together, you know. And so she realized that she could only feel safe. So I can only feel safe if I am merged with the reality of another to such an extent that we're sharing a reality. And I was like, oh, holy shit. That's huge. That's some huge shit right there. Like, wow. And so, yeah, it was actually, that's funny. I didn't really remember that the title of this podcast was called Unraveling the Collective Psychosis. So that is fun to see. So we don't share the same reality. So acknowledge the other, and that's a good place to start. And that, like, we're in completely different realities. We have no idea what the other person is experiencing unless they have, like, honestly and transparently, authentically and vulnerably, like, shared that with us, which it seems like we don't really, or we haven't really been able to create like a container to be able to do that, to be totally transparent, because we haven't been transparent with ourselves. We haven't been honest with ourselves. We haven't been able to fully open to ourselves. And yeah, honor like all parts of ourselves that have different needs at different times, that have played different parts to protect, like, yeah, the part of ourselves that needs to operate like in this world. And that's like, yeah, can be considered the ego, I guess, in certain ways too. But yeah, sometimes we're operating, yeah, from that lower ego, and sometimes we're operating from that purified ego. And sometimes we make the room and clear the space to go beyond ego, and we're operating from, pure soul, or, yeah, from that spirit, from creator, like the creator that we are, like, that we are. There is no separation from the creator to the created. And so, and this takes me back to last week when I was at my chiropractic appointment, and he asked me a question: when is the fish not a fish? And it had, yeah, to do with like swimming in the ocean. Are you the ocean, or are you something separate? Are you something in the ocean? Like, and it's just like both, really. I mean, when does the fish stop being a fish, I guess? And that like kind of yeah, made me think about some things. But yeah, and then sometimes like gets me overthinking about things. But my first initial answer that came up, like, was there is no separation. Like, there is no separation. It's all really about our own beliefs, what we believe. And your belief does have more power than your reality does. We have more, yeah, there's more power in our beliefs for us than there is like against us, really. Like, but it's all up to us, really. It really is. And so it's good to, yeah, look at where we've been like showing up for ourselves, where we've abandoned ourselves, and where we've been against ourselves, where we've been working against ourselves, and where we've been at war with ourselves, and where we can be at peace with ourselves, at peace within ourselves. So just get to surrender again, because I'm not sure where I was going with that thread. But yeah, it all relates. It all relates to the whole. All parts relate, yeah, to the whole. And so, yeah, working with my anger and my rage and my grief and my sorrow and my disappointments and my resentments and all of these things, letting go of attachments, letting go of expectations, letting go of judgments, letting go of like old beliefs that keep me separate from my whole being, that keep me separate from others. And from creation, like from certain parts, or parts that I discarded, denied, disliked, or told were bad, I had to hide. All these parts, reclamation, like inviting them back and creating a space for them to be, and listening and receiving and observing and witnessing. And there was a huge breakthrough that I had this week as well, where I had some feelings coming up of resentment and anger and irritation and hurt around abandonment, rejection, betrayal, and being shamed and being blamed and being told I was wrong. And yeah, this is like what I've been working with, playing with for so many years and so long. This old, what's wrong with me, what's wrong with you, what's wrong with everything. And don't want it to be wrong, don't want to feel wrong, don't want to feel like this, And so changing my mind one day at a time, and changing my beliefs about what it is, like what is so bad about being wrong. And so changing my tune and changing my song, and realizing that nothing is wasted, and we can let go of our wrongs to make it right. We can forgive the wrongs and the trespasses against us, but that doesn't mean we need to be a doormat and take shit from others. We don't need to accept that. We don't need to. But also, it's good to see where we've been dumping shit on ourselves or on others, and where we've kept ourselves disempowered because of the need to be right or feel right or to be seen as right. And so maybe I will go into that a little more, but I did call in the witness, and I realized that like feeling wrong for so long, I did have like an internal agenda that I wasn't quite conscious of. Like I was semi-aware of it, but I didn't realize, really the tangled mess that I had been caught in. So what the performance pressure was about was an agenda that I was unconscious of, I was unaware of, that there was a part of me that wanted to be recognized, wanted to feel special, wanted to be praised and approved of and validated, of course. Like we all have those parts of us that really, really crave that validation and that approval. And we want to see like that, our own light reflected in someone else's eyes, so that we can see our own light sometimes. And that's not a bad thing at all, and it's not wrong to desire that and to need that in a certain way, in certain ways. But it was hindering me, and it was a cock block. And so I realized, okay. So now what I can choose is to call in the witness, call in Nephthys, the silent sister, the silence in the shadows, and know that the universe, is responding to me, and the universe is witnessing, and this life, and my own consciousness and my own inner being, my own witness and my own watcher, within me, can come and witness and observe and see me. And that was related to a poem that one of my friends had sent me. I hope you feel seen by you. And I was just that's what I really need, is to feel seen by me, to see me. I don't need to be seen by anyone else as worthy or enough or beautiful or wonderful or amazing. It's like, I hope you feel seen by you. And so, yeah, and that's what I chose to do. It was just all of a sudden it came in, and I was like, it was a spontaneous thing of, oh, I can choose this for me. And wow, it's just like, wow, I can. Like, this is a possibility that I didn't see before. Like, that I can let go of that need to feel like validated and seen. And at first, what brought it up was irritation and anger, and just working with that. And it's just like, at first it was like, yes, I don't need your validation, and I don't need your approval, and I don't need your acceptance. I don't need your, yeah, your okay, or your say-so that it's okay, or your praise, or your reinforcement, yeah, or any of that. I get to receive that and offer that to myself. And so, yeah, it was awesome. Like, that trigger, like, triggered me to realize, yeah, I don't need that from outside myself. And then I went deeper into it to see more about it. And, yeah, called in Nephthys, the witness. And, yeah, for her to see me. And now I know that, like, it's not necessary. Yeah, it doesn't matter what anyone else chooses to see about me. Like, I know. And, yeah, the witness knows, like, what's really in my heart and what's really true. And now I can get out of my own way and just do, my thing. Yeah, and show up and be me. And so that was way, way more freeing. And just, like, letting go of certain resentments I've had. Resentments I've held on to because of certain wounds. Yeah. Feeling wounded, yeah, by the wounded feminine. And, had all this anger come up the last couple months because, something that was time, like, to process and to work with. So a couple months ago in November, I started this Medusa Sadhana. And it was with the Women's Awakening Institute. And, yeah, it was a 21-day thing where it was just, like, certain practices and certain offerings given and shared and, received. And it just, like, kind of helped me with my own process of all the parts that I was claiming and reclaiming for me that had been discarded and denied and thrown away, or labeled and cast as dirty, like, and thrown into the garbage. But, like, really, it's like just part of my shadow, part of my power, my unacknowledged, unclaimed or unexpressed power, that I got to invite and welcome home back to me. And just realizing, when certain things came up during that time, like how angry I really was with the feminine, more so, like, than the masculine. And because I felt way more betrayed by the feminine than I have the masculine in certain ways. But, like, I am, like, starting to see, like, some of these different parts and how they have played a role in my bondage and suffering, and how they play a role in my liberation and sovereignty, and reclaiming my sovereignty. And so I did a lot of good work today. And it wasn't like I was, like, efforting or anything, just when certain things would come up. And so, taking a different approach to some of this work as well, like, where, there is nothing to subtract, there is nothing to add. Just let it be. So making room, making the space, like, clearing the space, holding the space, freeing the space for it all to be. So holding the space for the wounded feminine and the healed feminine, the wounded masculine and the healed masculine to be. So they can, like, come together in their divine union through all their ways. And so, yeah, through all these ways of creating and creation. And so, and being that creator, and knowing that I'm the author of my own story. I'm the authority of my own life. I'm the authority of my own reality. I'm the authority of my own choice. So realizing, that I always do have a choice, and that is empowering, and knowing that everyone else does have a choice too, even if they haven't seen their choices or even looked at their choices. And so seeing everyone as powerful, remembering to see everyone as powerful, and like also having compassion for that victim consciousness that like we've held on to for so long, because there is, and there has been, those small payoffs, like short term anyways, instant gratification sometimes, and then we need it again and again and again, and so we keep telling ourselves lies to keep ourselves in this loop, in this story that we're helpless and that we're powerless, or that it's someone else's fault, or that we need to punish ourselves, or we need to tell someone else how it is, or we need to call someone else out and point the finger at someone else. But it's like really all mixed up, don't know what to do. Next thing you turn around, you find a person, it's you. Thought a freak might be the thing, but do know this won't last, so just get off of your ass. And all those things. So like turn it back around, like to ourselves, and see what's being asked, what's being offered, what's being found, what do we get to turn around for ourselves, so that we can see this full, whole, clear view. And so because we've only been looking through this small little straw, and this very, very narrow focus, and we haven't seen the whole true view. And so and now we have that opportunity, if we so choose. And so we'll see what else wants to be shared around all of that. But I wanted to share a couple messages that I received this week, and also there were some things I had in mind to revisit and review, but we'll just see where this goes and what we can do. So I had been having some dreams and writing them down this last month. Sometimes just little snippets and little messages, and that's all I have, and sometimes they're really detailed and full, and just take a couple days to unpack. And sometimes the message is just right there, or I'm just getting this spark of something that leads me to something else, like a seed that's planted, and then I follow, or like a thread that I grab onto and I follow to see where it leads. And then and it's pretty interesting. But I have my journal open here to February 10th, 2022. Opening, softening, surrendering. I am wide open. I am a wide open flood plain. I open my heart wider. I am safe right here. Letting go of resistance, letting go of control, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. I open my heart wider, and I am safe right here. And that's one thing that I got last month, and also in August of 2020 through this podcast, another podcast on Alpha Vedic. And it was with the kahuna, a Hawaiian shaman, talking about the ferns and the emotional codes that they hold for humanity. And he was sharing some prayers and some beautiful blessings in his ancient language. And one heart, the right hand, or one hand went on the heart, and one hand went on the womb. And the mantra for the masculine was, I open my heart wider, or open your heart wider. And then the mantra for the feminine was, I am safe. And so I've been playing with that the last couple weeks, the last little while with, I open my heart wider and I am safe right here. And so if I do feel like that is like contributing to the sacred union, the alchemical marriage within, unifying the two, and knowing that they both have their legit and proper place, and they both complement each other, and they both bless each other. They're both stronger together. And it does remind me of that story I read last year about these sticks, these sticks being tied together. Yeah, there was a man who gave his family like each a stick, and he told them, go ahead and break that stick. And so all of them broke the stick, and like pretty easily, just with really no effort. But then he gave them a pile of sticks to tie together and said, okay, try and break it now. And so we are stronger together when we come together, when we unify, and we stand together. And so, yeah, and we can be like, we can find and we can gather that strength within ourselves by coming together and coming together as one within ourselves, being one at peace within ourselves. So I open my heart wider and I am safe right here. And so that gives us an invitation to open to love, like to love the fullness of ourselves and to know that we are safe. And so that we are safe, we can be receptive to the love that's being offered and the love that's being shared and the love that's being given. And for that reciprocal exchange, and let go of our fears, and our anxieties and all the things that aren't aligned with our true well-being and the integrity that we do have and we can choose for ourselves and our well-being. So I've been looking at resistance patterns and avoidance strategies, my coping or avoidance mechanisms. Yeah, it's just seeing and it's okay to have those coping mechanisms because, man, it's been hard to be on this planet, to live in this dimension, to live in this density when some of us just feel and know that it's all backwards and it's not aligned and it's not in harmony and it's not honoring of life, and it doesn't contribute to life. It takes away from life. It goes against life. It dishonors life. It dishonors the sacredness of life, and so it is anti-life, and that's the thing that I couldn't really come up or think of a better word than anti-life a couple years ago with this system and some of the dark aspects of the consciousness that we've seen playing out, that perpetuates the suffering and this violence and this harm against ourselves, this self-destruction and self-hatred. It's anti-life. And so just seeing how hard it's been to live in this structured system, this inverted structure, for me. And of course, in order to survive, I needed to compensate or overcompensate in certain ways, and created coping mechanisms for myself so I could get through. But seeing now okay, how they becomes conditioned patterns and whatnot. How to dissolve those and how to let go, surrender of this ego control. Because that's what it really is. A coping mechanism is a way to control our own environment or control certain parts that we feel we can have that control over. But that can cause some other things as well. This does have a cause and effect thing, and so it does kind of keep us in a loop where we're not exactly confronting certain things but like we're just coping. But that's okay, because like when we know better, we can choose better. And so, and create something better for ourselves and for those that we're in relationship with. And so it does affect, it is like ripples. And so like if I choose something better that works better for myself, that is more honoring of my life and my true well-being, like that actually does ripple out, and it affects everybody that's in relationship with me. If I'm feeling better and I'm doing better, then that does like have an influence on like how other people are doing around me, or how I'm doing with others in relationship with me, and like the ways that we operate and we come together. And so little changes, that's what like transformation's all about, is just these little tiny changes which adds up to huge metamorphosis and transformation. And so just looking at like little things like, and behavioral strategies, survival strategies, and just learned behaviors, learned ways of coping. So I'm ready to let go of embarrassment and taking everything so seriously, or myself or my false image so deadly seriously. Thanks Heyoka Ally and Coyote Medicine. I embrace my inner dork, my playful spirit and my precious fool, my wise woman and my inner child, my magical sensual priestess and my wild woman, my great mother and all her love, care, and devotion. Self-care is essential and not a luxury. I invite my heart to open wider. I invite my heart to be lovingly reawakened. I invite my heart to lead the way. So I'm seeing some resistance and some resentment surface today, but I'm letting go and knowing that it's all really okay. I'm choosing self-compassion, self-acceptance, and allowance, trust, strength, mercy, and grace. Self-trust, self-confidence, and self-esteem. I like being me. I love my life, and I enjoy being me. I enjoy life, and life enjoys me. I am grateful for life, and life is grateful for me. So the resentments and the judgments and the stories, that have been coming up around old wound and grudges, feelings of unacceptance, distrust, annoyance, frustration, suspicion, blame, defensive feelings and exasperations, self-righteous indignation. How dare you? And so, how poorly I've felt like I've been treated by people who I trusted to love, care for, honor, and respect me. In certain ways, maybe in unconscious, or conscious ways, certain choices were made, to treat me a certain way, or exclude me in certain ways, or judge me in certain ways, or condemn me in certain ways. And if that is coming from the outside of me, and it triggers me, and it bothers me, and it hurts me, there's something for me to see about where I created that within myself. And that's just an individual, journey to take, to see into all these things. And so, feeling like I was treated poorly, treated like dirt, and treated like crap, and not like, and it wasn't deserving. But like, I know that the other person had their own wounds, and they were operating from their own wounds and their own hurt and their own anger and their own unacknowledged power. And and so it's just interesting seeing that, like, I can forgive like the person, and I can forgive the situation, and but I don't have to keep playing into it. I don't. And so that's the thing, is that I can change it and I can shift it. And I don't have to allow others to shit all over me, or like go behind my back and gossip and slander me and still like, yeah, buddy up to them. And yeah, because a sacred boundary, there is a sacred boundary showing me, showing me where what I've let into my sacred space like is no longer working for me. And it's time to seal up like those energy leaks and those energy drains. And that's what I've been doing the last year. And so it has been uncomfortable. And yeah, a lot of it has been uncomfortable. And it's like, how well can I sit with this discomfort? And how comfortable can I get with being uncomfortable? And so that's what I've been doing, yeah. And that's one thing that I got like a couple days ago that was huge for me. And I'll share that in just a little bit. But yeah, just looking at these triggers and all of these things and how I can find the remedy like within me and how I can accept me and accept like these parts of me that have felt unacceptable or that aren't accepting of what is. I can still, accept that which is unacceptable. And so that's like, that frees up a lot of energy. But yeah, I was just looking at some of these things, like the know-it-all and the self-righteous superior asshole, and the inconsiderate, self-absorbed, hypocritical, manipulative, and hypersensitive, tunneled-visioned, entitled assholes. Yeah, and just like, seeing how that relates to me and how, in my own experience, my own situation, where I've had other assholes, like, show me different things about me or about like what I was choosing for myself or what I was allowing into my sacred space. And so I'm super grateful like for all those assholes, really, for playing that asshole for me. So I could see where I was playing the asshole for myself and where I was being an asshole to myself, you know. And yeah, I've never deliberately tried to be an asshole to anyone else. But, like, I'm sure I've played that asshole, like, very well for others because it didn't meet with their expectations or their desires or their agendas, or their beliefs about who I should be or how I should show up for them or, you know, like, what was my responsibility, you know, was it my responsibility to care for them and make them comfortable? Because that's what I was, the dynamic that I was into for so long, playing into for so long, making it all comfortable and making it all right for everyone else. And it's okay, it's all good, don't worry, it's all right. I know you were going through a hard time and that's all right, you know, we'll just let it go and set it all right again. And it's just like, no, I don't have to do that anymore. Like, if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. And I don't need to, like, let it back into my space and allow that dynamic to continue. And sometimes people don't like it when all of a sudden we're not like showing up as that caregiver role that we were playing for such a long time, or that peacemaker or that people pleaser, and makes them super upset and that, you know, causes their ego to want to make us wrong. And so it is kind of funny, like this back and forth song of you're right and I'm wrong, or I'm right and you're wrong. And it's just silly in certain ways. But yeah, it's been eye-opening, to say the least. And so I was kind of looking at certain dynamics and, you know, like what's mine and what's not mine. And what can this person, like what I'm seeing, what can it show me about like maybe some of my patterns, my unconscious patterns that I haven't seen or I haven't fully seen. And so, yeah, it was all about accountability and a willingness. Yeah, a willingness to see. But yeah, I just allowing myself to like feel the anger and express it and look into it a little deeper. Because I did have some unpleasant feelings that are still there, like because of like abandonment and trauma and betrayal and rejection and hurt. And so just looking at those things, a part of me feels that that's wrong to feel that way. And part of me feels just fine and justified for feeling that, and feeling that that is an accurate assessment and a true story. And so I am willing to forgive and let go of these resentments, but I will not tolerate disrespect, indifference, and undermining, and energy siphoning, manipulation, like emotional manipulation and exploitation. And no, that's not going to fly. That's not going to fly anymore. And so whether it's unconscious or conscious, all the old push and pull games and narcissist empath ways of toxic operating. Yeah, those ways of operating dysfunctionally or inauthentically. I'm so done with play acting. I'm so done with playing at being the nice girl. Like, I can still be kind, and I still am. That's who I am. I'm gentle, and I am compassionate, and I am kind. I don't need to be nice, yeah, to know that I am kind, and that I am acting with kindness for myself. And so, like, I was thinking about what were the payoffs to that, and, like, the coping mechanisms of doing that, like, you know, yeah, making it all right and smoothing it all over and being the nice one, being the bigger one, being the mature one, rising above it and saying, oh, it's okay, we'll just let you off the hook this time again, okay? So, yeah, I thought about what it did for my little self, my little me, and yeah, what were the payoffs of play acting? What were the ego benefits and the learned strategies? And also, like, making the other one wrong, not wanting to be wrong. Yeah. And so sometimes playing nice gave me, or could give me, what I wanted or needed up to a certain point, and then not so much after a while anymore. And then I would have a meltdown or a huge shadow dump, or I'd get swept up in shadow behaviors or avoidance mechanisms that carried me away, like the girl in the red dancing shoes. That story told by Clarissa Pinkola Estes in Women Who Run with the Wolves, such a good story for me to receive last year. She tried so hard to be good, and then she obsessively gave in to her guilty pleasures and her forbidden desires. She could not have her soul-made life. It was cheapened and trashed and minimized. So I had cheapened and trashed and minimized my own soul-made life. Yeah, because of the projections and assumptions and opinions of others. Like, I took those on as my own, and I absorbed those like a sponge, you know. And just so I could make other people happy and comfortable, I would defer, like, to their reality. Or like just to placate them and to make it peaceful. But that was false peace because it didn't come from within. It had to be managed or manipulated outside of me. And so, yeah, she was given a new life, a false ideal, a false idol, a replacement life, a half-lived life of lives where she could not truly express herself through her soul. So she got lost in the fear-desire cycles, the lower ego's punishment and pleasure reward, back and forth. She asked and begged in the end for her feet to be chopped off because it was so very painful. Yeah. So these pain and control suffering cycles, the carrot on a stick, the blind distractions, the subtractions, the contractions, the addictions, the dependence and the bondage, at the mercy of the tyrant perfectionist idealist, never enough, too much, poverty, lack, victim consciousness. That was my wounded child speaking, like telling me and showing me different things. Yeah, and why I started to use the nice girl strategy, like to get my own well-being's needs met. And it did work for me for a little while, but then it ceased to work, and it just kept causing more pain and more suffering. And I kept playing into that again and again because this used to work for me, and everything will be okay, once we're all okay. But man, I had like a relationship, a crazy relationship that helped me like see into more of that, like how sick I was making myself, like by like putting myself last, and thinking that was like the righteous thing to do, and the unselfish thing to do, and that like caused illness for everyone, and that was like super interesting to see, like in so many ways. But that is the bargain without knowing. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna keep going with this and following the thread and see where else it leads. But those were some good things that I was able to see about 9 days ago with certain things that came up. And working with the friend and working with the asshole. So, and the inner judge and the inner prude. So my inner prude showed me some awesome things too. Funny how the impersonal lens is such a useful tool, and how practicing non-attachment is a golden rule. Letting go, letting go, letting go. Letting go of control, agendas, attachments, stories, fears, and roles. Judgments, resentments, blocks, expectations, old strategies, beliefs, and comfort zones. Worn out clothes and puts on new ones. Death of the ego, purification of the mind, liberation of the soul, of the whole self. And so some of, this little dream snippet that I had on February 11th, rearranging. I'm rearranging the home, my relational dynamics. There's males and females, there's brothers and sisters, there's new relationships, new structures, new ways of ordering. There's innocence and curiosity, fears and desires. I'm making use of available space for the best or the most optimal functioning of the whole. There's young children, their siblings being raised or trained in an unconscious way, and now they're being awakened to their own power, their feelings, their creativity, fertility, sensuality, life force, vitality, and inner stirrings. They're in need of guidance and support and structure and new foundations as we shift into new ways of cooperating and restructuring. Yes, we get to learn how to use our energy with integrity. So sexual integrity, impeccability, responsibility for our creative energy. And so in this dream, I'm breastfeeding a little baby girl who is thriving, but I am still doubting myself and life to like provide. And so there's some ego insecurities and the need to know so that I get to let go of. So, and then in this dream, I'm rearranging certain bedrooms, and it's a complete overhaul of the home to make more room for what's to come through. And so it is like kind of a mirror of my own, my own process and what is actually being reordered and restructured right now in my physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, psychological states of being. And so super, super interesting too, to receive all that and to see all that and relate and connect all those things, like linking the inner and the outer, above and below, the left and the right, within and without. And so the old and the new, linking through the two. Yeah, linking the two. And so that's so fun as well. I was going to say that was so fun too. That here I am, 2/11/2022 in my journal here, and we have on Tuesday coming up 22/2022, and so it's a Tuesday as well. So that's kind of fun, like to see, and like with what the numerology is and how potent of a day this will be, like this amazing portal for transformation and catalyzing our own growth, like exponentially. And so all the astrology is so fun to see, like right now, like how it is such a great mirror, like to look into, and just to see where and what areas in our lives like we are completing and we are being newly initiated into. And so in my own life, me and my husband we totally redoing our bedroom, and that's really, really been an awesome little project, and it feels really right. And I know it's like, one step in our next chapter that we get to rewrite. And so been doing that, shifting through, sorting through different things, And that's what I felt like doing around the house, and just kind of freshening up my space, and messaging friends, and connecting and receiving, like, and offering support, sharing support. Being with me, loving me, letting go of attachments, projections, expectations, and old beliefs about what I should be, and how I should be feeling, what I should be doing, or what I should be thinking. I'm just allowing, observing, witnessing, allowing, and surrendering judgments, stories, identities, and beliefs about what I should not be. Allowing my feelings and all my parts to be love, to offer love, to allow love, to free love, to be loved and allowed as I am, as we are. Thinking about all these little triggers and reactions, resistance and distractions, contractions, keeping me locked in a box of silly contradictions. So practice non-attachment. You are with the friend now. From the smallest, most insignificant movements of your own holy body. Yeah. Just remembering that joy. Keep squeezing drops of the sun from your work, your music, your prayer, and your companion's beautiful laughter. Yeah. And with the smallest, the most insignificant movements of your own holy body. And I realized that too. Like, oh my gosh, like, it doesn't even really matter, like, how grand I think something is going to be as a gesture or whatever, but like, just even the smallest, like, little gesture of care or an act of care or kindness, like, that is everything, and that is so huge. And it is like, it can be the most insignificant thing, and so effortless and so easy, but so huge and profound, and create so much change and spark, like, an inner dynamic, like, to support that. So was looking at how I was triggered or feeling annoyed or apathetic in certain ways, and like how that's been like an avoidance strategy, like, and feeling apathetic, and like, because there's a part of me that really does care, but cares so much, is so mad so mad about caring, doesn't want to care, doesn't want to give a fuck, but that's because I do care so deeply. But like, yeah, I've been able to make peace with that because I do care, but I know what I'm responsible for and what I'm not responsible for. So, and I realized too, like, that I can have compassion for myself and all others, and with what they're going through, because we don't really know what someone else is going through, and even they sometimes don't even know what they're going through. So it's kind of funny that way. Sometimes we don't even know, and so we don't even know that we don't even know, and so we get to check in to see what condition our condition is in, and that's been part of my practice too. Checking in with my body, and getting back in my body and embodying my own life, like fully embodying this life that I have to live and like to experience for me, like, through this life. So I am like so grateful for these mirrors and these reflections. So that was one huge thing. That thank you so much for helping me to know me, for helping me to know me better. Yeah, that's just one thing I can be grateful for. And I can love my loved ones, even if I don't agree with their beliefs. I can allow them to have them and have their own journey. And and looking at my own wounds of where I felt unloved and unlovable or unacceptable and unworthy, and where I felt wrong and not right to be. So I felt a little bit defensive in certain ways, or certain parts of me felt the need to defend certain aspects of myself, because I felt that I was being judged, devalued, and projected upon because of certain stories, resentments, and hurt feelings, old wounds. But isn't it interesting when we are willing to look deeper into ourselves and deeper into the judgment, stories, and lies that we've learned to tell ourselves, and then allow and invite the whole truth to reveal itself? Can we command the whole truth to reveal itself? Can we command what is not true to reveal itself? And I wanted to talk about this and look into these triggers more, that relate to my core wounds of abandonment, rejection, abuse, trauma, manipulation, avoidance, and betrayal, the denial of ourselves, constantly making ourselves wrong and perpetuating wrongs, and holding on to self-righteous indignation and disempowering ideals and stories, games, patterns, and roles that we choose to play in or have unconsciously played out through this unacknowledged pain, the fear cycle of suffering and shame. For being wrong and not getting it right, or being right and good, pleasing or enough, yeah, and worthy. So I've been working with my bullshit, embracing my bullshit, my limitations, my potential, and my strengths. Yeah, I do have a handle on my shit, so thanks. Yeah, I'm willing to work with it, and I am able, I am capable, and it is right to be. It is potent fertilizer, and it is a gift for me, and it's up to me how I choose to work with it, how I choose to use it, direct it, and put it to work for me. And yeah, it's just kind of funny how certain other triggers after that came up for me to work with and to play with. And it is contributing to my growth, and it is contributing to my evolution and to my expansion and to the expansion of my, awareness and my consciousness. So I'm grateful for it. So it is like something that I heard the other day, like, how is this happening for us? And how is this contributing to your own growth? And sometimes something doesn't feel like it is, but actually if we can unify our own perception or our own vision, we can see how it is working for us and how it is happening for us and what is being asked of us or what is being offered to us. And so there is a lot more, that I did want to share about all of this. And I wanted to talk about a grief or a rage ceremony that I got to participate in on Friday. And that was huge because it brought up so many things. And that's like, I feel like, in this cycle, that's some of the things I'm completing is some of that work and opening up into new levels of it so that I can hold the space for others who are about to go through it. And we'll see what a wild and crazy ride that will be. But I'm just letting go and trusting and surrendering that all of this is happening for us and it all is contributing to our greatest well-being. And even though it may not look like it or feel like it right now, because it looks like a big, gigantic mess, because, that's what it is. And that's what we get to work with right now. And so there's just a couple questions that I did look at and kind of just asked myself and kind of playing with these last 2 days. And so some thoughts that I had yesterday. What do I know that I haven't let myself see? Or what do I know that I haven't yet allowed myself to see? What do I know that I have been reluctant or resistant to seeing? And so, what are the payoffs to playing small? So keep squeezing the drops of the sun from your work, prayer, play, music, art, laughter, and joy, and with the most insignificant movements of your own holy body, make love and be friends with your life. You are with the friend now. You are worthy, deserving, amazing, wonderful, and beautiful, whole and complete. There is divine love flowing in from your crown through your feet. Loving, generous, gentle, and kind, love is all around. Overthinking is a huge cock block. Avoidance and denial, LOL, huge cock blocks. Acceptance, remedy, repentance, forgiveness, resurrection, redirection, expansion, creativity, trust, joy, and receptivity. We are at peace, remembering. A willingness to serve and be. Nothing to become everything. So being at peace, and allowing myself, to let go of everything, to be nothing, to become everything. So how can I best serve love right now? See everyone as powerful and capable of change and receiving and tapping into and accessing their inner knowing. Show up and be yourself. You are what you love. You are all we love. We are all we love. Your belief holds more power than your reality does. Your belief holds more power for you or over you than your own reality does. So it's a wonderful life. I feel that I have been blessed. I feel that I have been blessed far more than I have been cursed. Like, I feel like when people think about me or they say my name, I feel like it's been more of a blessing than, as a curse. And so, like, I feel that, like, I really do. Like, and I feel like I've blessed more than I've cursed life, And so, and I feel like life has blessed me, more than I feel like it's cursed me. It's just kind of interesting to see that and to feel that. I know there is much more to celebrate than there is to complain about or to condemn. And I see how all this is happening for us and contributing to our growth, learning, and expansion, our evolution and our fullness, our wholeness, our healing, and our true union. How can we build and nurture, cultivate trust in our lives and relationships? So how can we build and nurture and cultivate trust in our lives and relationships? And how can we be more radically honest with ourselves and each other in transparency and authenticity, responsibility, and empowerment? So empowerment. Empowering ourselves doesn't mean disempowering someone else. It empowers everyone. If we're empowering ourselves and our capital S self, we're offering that, choice to someone else as well. But it's all a personal choice. See, everyone is powerful and worthy of love, forgiveness, and compassion, but use discernment, intuition, and my own inner compass to navigate and penetrate through the illusion, dissolving the distortions of the false overlaid system. What does being free mean to you? What does sovereignty mean to you? What does it feel like to be powerful? What is power, and what does it mean to you? What is personal power? How do you claim that for you? How do you claim your power for you and through you? We take responsibility to claim our power, and we claim our power to take responsibility. What can we respond to with love? What are we responding to with love? What are we yielding to with love? And what can we be in acceptance about right now? What can we surrender to right now? What can we open to? What can we embrace? What can we let go of? To be one at peace within ourselves right now. What can I let go of right now to be more at peace and more at ease with where I am with where I am right now? How can I be a better friend and a better caregiver to myself? How can I develop and cultivate a deeper friendship with life and my whole self? What does friendship mean to me? What does integrity mean to me? Being in alignment with what is true for me. Being in harmonious alignment with what is really true for me. So radical trust, courage, faith, honesty, change, freedom, prosperity, and clarity, creativity. Radical trust, courage, and faith. Radical love, radical grace. And there is a couple of messages from my animal spirit companions this week, and I will share those with some other soul collage cards and some messages in the next video. And so I love you, and I hope you're all well. I hope you're being loved for your true whole well self, and for your true whole well-being. I love you, and I thank you, and I bless you, and I praise you, and I honor you, I respect you, and I do care for you. Be that love for yourself that you need. Free that love for yourself. Be that love. Free that love. See that love for your whole self. See you for now.